Good afternoon. This is a special edition of Real Talk with Herschel. Seated to my left is the Whitehurst family. We'll get into who the Whitehurst family is and their importance and what we need to know about them. I have Stacy Whitehurst and Mrs. Whitehurst's mother. We're here to discuss the modern day lynching of their husband and father. And I say modern day lynching because whether he was shot or hung from a tree, he was still illegally taken away from you. So we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to ask Mrs. Whitehurst, just tell us a little about who Bernard Whitehurst was.
Well, my husband.
Okay. Well, what kind of man was he? I mean, I know he was your husband.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
a good man, yeah. He was a good man. They killed him for the wrong man.
Yeah. You were a young woman, a younger.
Yeah, I was
a younger woman.
when that happened. I was 23
23.
years old, had 4 kids left behind, had a 2-month-old baby.
And so now you're a single mom with a murdered husband. So how did you cope with being left alone? Like, was there any support from the community? Did the police offer any type of assistance or anything?
No. His mother had was helping me till I started getting income.
So, I'm just trying to get a backdrop to let people know that Bernard Whitehurst was a man, not some thug in the street, not some entity that was made up. I want people to understand that he was a father of 4, he had a new wife, and that he was a hardworking man.
Right.
This wasn't someone that committed murder. This wasn't even a guilty man. And to have his family left how it was, and I'm trying to understand. Before we get into exactly what happened to him, once he was taken away, was there any outreach from any civil rights activists or the city or anything like that?
No, didn't nobody even come and tell me they had killed him. I didn't know till the next morning when his mother called me, asked me had he came home, and I told her no. Then she hung up in my face and called me back and said, yeah, that was him got killed yesterday evening. Like that, I had seen that same evening on TV, but I had to cut down note. I was talking to his sister over the phone. I said, somebody done got killed this afternoon. Didn't know I was looking at my husband's body on the stretcher there.
Okay, so we know about Bernard Whitehurst, family man, father, and hard worker. So he never had any run-ins with the police.
Not that I know of.
And again, it doesn't matter. I just want people to understand. You know what I'm saying? Because this is always what's done with us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was a bad guy. He had run-ins with the police frequently. I want people to understand that this was just an ordinary guy, an ordinary man with his family, and whether it's mistaken identity or on purpose, it was still wrong.
Right.
Okay. So we want to shed light on this. There was a book written, Closed Ranks, about your father, about your husband. We want people to understand that in 1975, Bernard Whitehurst was he was killed, murdered by the police. Supposedly he fit the description of a robber, correct?
Yes.
Now, he was shot in the back. The police report said that he was shot in the chest,
Yes.
or in the front of his body, in the stomach, right? But upon exhumation of the body, it was found that he was shot in the back.
Yes.
So, subsequently, there was a police cover-up, and the mayor had to resign. There were several officers that were convicted of perjury, correct?
Correct. 3.
Okay, 3 of perjury, but no one of murder,
No one on murder.
no one of manslaughter.
No one on manslaughter.
So your father, your husband is dead, and nobody's accountable for it? I'm trying to find my words because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Was there an apology? Was there any compensation offered to the family, Mrs. Whitehurst? I mean, was there anything offered?
There was a policy in 2012.
An apology, okay. We have another Whitehurst. Come on, have a seat over here. There you go. Okay, all right. So there was nothing offered. There was no. So if there was nobody held accountable, what did they apologize for? Is what I'm trying to understand. If nobody was responsible for his death, what was the apology for?
Just apologize.
I guess the apology, from my understanding, I guess the apology was for, I guess to make us feel better.
All right, let me get it. This is
My twin sister.
this
Tracy.
is the twin sister.
Yes, Tracy.
Tracy, how are you, Tracy?
Hi.
Herschel Gaston. We're just trying to shed light on your father's story and let people know that this was a real person. This is not something made up. This is not something just to be another story. This happened here in Montgomery.
Yeah.
Ms. Whitehurst, we know in '75 was just on the heels of the civil rights movement. And I'm really trying to understand what Montgomery was like. I mean, this is the bed of Martin Luther King Jr. and all of this going on, and your husband gets killed by the police, and no one. I'm not from here. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm trying to understand how in 1975 no one reached out to you.
Right.
No one. I mean, we were right around the corner from Dexter Street Church.
Right.
I don't understand, and still till today. I know there's a little monument up
Yes.
for him, and I'm trying to understand why he has a monument if nothing was wrong. So they're admitting that something was wrong, his death was wrong, but nobody's responsible.
That's right.
So in '75, the police didn't say anything, nobody was charged with his murder. It's 2012, you said they did the monument. 2011, I think it was.
12, yeah, 12.
12, okay, they did the monument and apologized. There was no compensation for the family.
No.
There was no acknowledgement of guilt to the family. I'm just trying to understand. I want people to understand that this is still going on today.
Yes.
The mayor resigned, mostly because of your husband's case.
Yes.
If he resigned because there was cover-up, because there was perjury, they planted a gun on your husband, I understand. If all of that happened, how was nobody responsible? Because why would you plant evidence on a guilty man? Or an honest mistake. If it was an honest mistake, they said he fit the description, which he didn't.
Right.
At all. He didn't look anything like the gentleman that committed the crime, right? So, like I said, I'm just trying to help you guys get your story out there and let people know that it still hasn't been resolved. This is 2019.
That's right.
And you guys were babies
Yes.
when your father was taken from you, because that's what he was taken from you. So, you two were children when it went on, so you don't really know what it was like at that time. But other than what your mother tells you, have you seen any changes in Montgomery in the way that black people are treated, or the policing methods? Have you seen any changes? Because I was told by a good source that they use your husband's case for training.
Yes.
They use it for training.
Yes.
So if that's the case, that says that either something was done very wrong or done very right.
Right.
So has there been any change in policing or the way that black people are treated here in Montgomery?
I mean, you want me to answer that question?
Yeah, either one.
Okay, I can say, as far as dealing with changes, I mean, you can look at the Great Gun situation. it speaks for itself. So with that said, there's no change. You know, they still trying to cover that up. You know, and it was once said that, you know, for us dealing with the city of Montgomery, when it come down to the Whitehurst case, that the mayor had said that it would love to compensate the family for what had happened. But he said out of his own mouth that it would open up the floodgates.
So they're sorry that they killed him, but they don't want to have to pay the other people that they killed as well.
Absolutely.
So it's better that everybody suffer than they do the right thing. I'm just trying to find the right word. Like I said, you know, we read the book, we interviewed the author, Foster Dixon, and we're glad that he brought it to our attention as well.
Yes.
This is a family that's hurting. This is a family that was robbed of its father, of its provider, of its companion.
Yes.
And this, unfortunately, is an all too familiar story.
Yes.
All too familiar story. And we can't sit idly by and act as though it doesn't happen or it didn't happen. And here's the problem. Here's my problem. When you reached out to me, I asked you the same questions. Well, what happened to the civil rights people? What happened to the NAACP? What happened to the Urban League?
Yes.
What happened to all these activists that come through Montgomery
Yes.
all the time? Because I had never heard of it. Some of the people down where I live at Dothan, never heard of it. But this is the home of the civil rights movement.
Yes.
Here's a black man with a young black man gunned down the streets like we still see today on TV by the police, and nobody's telling your story. I spoke to you, Stacey, several times.
Yes.
Tell us about your father. Tell us what you've garnered from the things that your mother said about your father and what you want to see done.
You know, what I know about my father, you know, just from word of mouth, that he was a great provider. You know, he really cared for his family. He really cared about his kids. And not only just that, he cared about people that I would not use the word poverty, but I would say, you know, homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was once said that he used to go to the sandwich shop, and if he sees someone hungry, he would buy them something to eat. And so that let me know that he had a right heart for people, and as well as for his own family. Just dealing with the city of Montgomery, it hurts my heart because what I had to go through, as well as my family had to go through, growing up without our father, growing up without our provider, growing up with that voice that I needed when I was a child. You know, even as a grown man, even to this day, I still need to hear my father's voice because it means a lot. And with that said, I can say that the city, me and my brother had met with the city attorney, and I asked the city attorney, just look straight, you know, into her face. I said, ma'am, if the shoe was on the other feet, don't the city owe us? She looked me in my face. She said that the city owed us 37 years ago. I said, well, man, if the city owed us 37 years ago, if they ain't paid their debt, don't they owe us even to this day with interest?
Right.
And she didn't answer that question. She just dropped her head. So, you know, just living in this city and just seeing the things that happen here and just knowing about the history of the civil rights movement and just knowing about certain advocates that comes into the city, but no one's ever say anything or mention anything about my father. It hurts. It hurts even to this day. You know, we have what you call a lynching memorial.
Right.
We have the Southern Party Law Center, but no one never addressed what happened to Bernard Whitehurst.
Mm-hmm.
He was a human. He was a man. He was a provider. He was someone's son. He was a person.
Right, exactly. And And this is what we want people to understand.
Yes.
So you spoke to the city attorney,
Mhm.
and they gave you that answer, we'll say it like that. And they left it at that.
Left it at that.
So for the Whitehurst family, what does justice look like? What do you want to see done other than the plaque up a list of hill? Other than that, what do you know, which is I don't know, I won't say, but it's just to me a slap in the face, because if you acknowledge that something was wrong, then there needs to be some sort of compensation for the family, because obviously you guys never left the city.
No, we still here. That's another thing that is so different about just dealing with the Whitehurst case. You know, the family's still here. We never left the city. We still living here and just dealing with this pressure from the city for us dealing with what had happened to our father, what happened to my mother's husband. And, you know, what I would like to see that the city do is do the right thing and compensate us for our loss, because it's the right thing to do. And then what I'd like to see done on a national level is people to be educated about what's been going on that people been trying to hide for years. Not only that he was killed, he was taken from the crime scene. His body was taken to the funeral home, and they had him embalmed without our permission.
Right.
We didn't even know he was dead.
Dead. Didn't know he was dead.
They embalmed my father's body while it was still hot.
Ooh, okay. I got a lot of things. You know, this is, and again.
And excuse me, I don't mean to
No,
cut you
no,
off.
no, no. Go right ahead.
I understand. I understand.
If they funeral home, they still in business.
Yeah, leave
I mean,
funeral
funeral
home.
home.
But then at the same time, you know, we always hear in the city, you know, they're talking about we don't want to make this a black and white thing. I understand that. But at the same time, that's why I got on a white shirt, because if it was a white person, that white person would not be sitting right here in this seat, because the city would have handled that in a different way.
Right.
I mean, I'm just being truthful.
Right.
This is dealing with a city that is divided. I mean, however you want to call it.
Well, I know you and your sister were children at the time. Are you harassed at all by the police or city officials, knowing that this is going on, or are they trying to pacify you and keep you quiet?
I have been harassed many times in this city by the city cops. They have pulled me over on my way to work numerous of times. And the last time I was pulled over, I was on my way to work. It was early one morning. And I know what to do because I was taught. Okay? So when they pulled me over, I had everything ready. Okay? Understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the person sat in their car for about maybe 5 minutes before he got out. And I'm like, I ain't do nothing wrong, just heading to work. So when he finally got out of his car, he did not come straight around to my window. He came just far enough to the back of my car, which is the trunk part, and hollered out loud, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake." And he backed back, told me to go. He didn't want me to see who he was. He didn't want me to get his badge.
And does this happen often?
Well, I have been pulled over by city cops in the last decade, probably more than 5 times. I was never given a ticket. They asked me for my license, and just being real, they always bring up, when they see my driver's license, they always bring up this case. Are you the lady?
So they know.
Yes.
So they know. Okay. So they know, and they know who you are because they run your plate.
Yes.
The car's registered to you.
Right, absolutely.
Do you have any problems with police like that in Montgomery? No. Thank God. But I just wonder, because again, it would be so much easier to pay you and have you go away.
Right.
than to you know, and it's not that they can give you enough money to replace your father,
Right.
not by any means.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, there has to be somebody responsible.
Yes.
If, like you said, had it been someone white,
Yes.
somebody would have to go to jail.
That's right. I mean,
Right?
that's the truth.
Somebody has to go to jail, right? So, here's a man, a young man with a young wife and 4 young children. That's dead. Somebody's responsible.
That's right.
They said he was shot in the stomach. He wasn't.
That's right.
They bombed. I've read the story, but you know, when they embalmed him before you even knew that he was dead.
Right.
I can't even imagine. Like I said, I'm trying to understand and help facilitate what the Whitehurst family needs. You know, we need light shed on this. We need to understand the politics of Montgomery. You know, the mayor had to resign after this. So obviously something was wrong for him to have to resign. You had cops that were convicted of perjury,
Yes.
and they're still harassing you.
Yes.
And you want, I guess what the Whitehurst family needs for closure is to have somebody held accountable.
That's right.
And compensated. Because if he got killed on a job, the job would have compensated you, or life insurance.
That's right.
So and again, I'm not trying to make this about money no more than you are.
That's right.
But again, right is right, wrong is wrong.
That's right.
Because you had to take care of your children. Because next thing, I would imagine people, if you had to get welfare or something like that, here we go with a single black mother on welfare, but they're not telling the whole story, if that were the case. Because her husband got murdered by the damn police.
That's
Excuse me, you know what?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of stuff that, we have to put faces to. This is why I wanted to speak to you all face to face.
That's right.
Like I told your brother, we want to get as much light on this as possible. We want to help you get whatever it is that you need to get out of this. You to stop being harassed by the city. It amazes me the courage that you've shown to stay in the city, because I don't know if I would have wanted to still stay here after my father or my wife, as it were. I don't know if I would want to stay here. It shows a lot of fortitude on your part, Mrs. Whitehurst. Is there a reason, and again, you live where you want, is there a reason that you stayed as opposed to leaving?
I moved to Jackson, Alabama, but I didn't stay for 3 weeks. I came back to Montgomery.
Well, you don't like Jackson?
That's where
I'm just asking because, like I said, with the horror of that, and knowing that these officials lied, fabricated things, a lot of people would have left for fear for their lives, especially in the 70s. It shows a lot of fortitude on your part, and I commend you for that. And I think that's a great example for your children and other people. Not to let people knock you off of where you want to be, because if this is where you wanted to be, this is where you should stay, regardless of what happens. And you guys should be real proud of your mother for that. Because I might have left, whether it be for emotional reasons or whatever. But it shows a lot of fortitude. Is there anything that you want to get out? We have pictures of Bernard Whitehurst and his children, his son looking like his dad. Is there anything that you guys want to really talk about, or let our audience know about the Whitehurst family and what we need to do to help?
Is anything That you want to touch on?
No.
Oh. Well, I was just speaking for the family, because this is a very painful, it's very painful for us, for us just dealing with the case, just growing up in the city, just dealing with this for decades. want everyone to know that, you know, something that was said when I was 27 years old back in 2001. And I remember in this interview, I said, and I made a statement, that the system is not doing what the system is supposed to be doing. And if we don't stand up for justice now, for years to come, the same old thing is going to continue. You know, that was before Trayvon Martin. That was before Fred Gray. You know, that is before anyone else that would follow behind this. You know, we have to stand up because, you know, I have a son. I have to teach him what and what not to do. And, you know, just dealing with the audience that's listening to this video, you know, we have to be educated, you know, and know our history, you know, our true history. There's a lot of history out there, but there's a lot of history that we're not learning, you know, and the Whitehurst is a prime example. You know, this happened, a couple of years after the movement, which you would think that, you know, the black community would pull together and we'll have resolved this, you know. But as a whole, you know, we all just need to come together and do the right thing, because if we don't, we're going to continue on seeing this.
You're absolutely right. We've covered a few different cases recently, like you said, with Trayvon, and there was a young man killed over in Hoover at the mall. E.J. Bradford.
Yes.
You know, I've spoken to his father, and I'm trying to get him to do the same thing. Because this happened in 1975.
Yes.
That happened in 2018, Thanksgiving of last year. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Shot in the back by the police, and nobody's held accountable. We, you know, I try to tell people, do not let this happen to you before you get involved.
That's right.
I don't want to know how you feel. I don't. My heart goes out to you. Nobody should have to go through it.
That's right.
No one should have to go through this. And if we don't come together when this does happen, it's coming to you.
Yes.
It's coming to you.
Yes, it is.
So don't think anybody's immune because you live somewhere or you have a certain amount of money. As long as your skin is black,
Yes.
we don't have problems here where we live at.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm going to do everything that I can to help publicize the story, to help put pressure on the city. You know, it doesn't stop with an apology. It doesn't stop with payment. It doesn't stop until they stop killing our men and our women in these streets.
Yeah.
That's when it stops. You know, I don't want to add any more pain than you already have. But I definitely want people to know that Bernard Whitehurst was a man.
Yes.
Not a name on a sheet, not just another statistic.
Yes.
He was a real person.
Yes.
And this is what we have to emphasize. All these people that get killed are people.
Yes.
And we have to keep their memories and their names alive. And say, not the Whitehurst case, Bernard Whitehurst was murdered by the police.
That's right. Absolutely.
So when I speak of it, that's how I speak of it. Bernard Whitehurst was murdered by the Montgomery police. E.J. Bradford was murdered by the Hoover police.
Yes.
You know, and we can't let our loved ones be relegated to just statistics.
Yes.
So again, this book, Closed Ranks, is about the Bernard Whitehurst murder in Montgomery in 1975. And these people around the table are his widow and two of his 4 children.
Yes.
This is a real person. This is not a story, a movie, or something made up. These are real people. These are black people just like you. Don't let it come to you before you get involved. Don't let it come to you before you try to do something to help. Read this book. Put pressure on the Montgomery City Council, Montgomery Mayor, the governor, to do the right thing by not only the Whitehurst family, but all those that are still getting lynched. We got a lynching memorial right here.
Yes.
Your father's name should be there. Just because he wasn't hung from a tree doesn't mean that he wasn't killed by the same system
Yes.
and the same means. So they're not hanging us like they used to. They're shooting. It's no difference. It's wrong. Innocent men are dying. Innocent women are dying and being taken from us. Let's help the Whitehurst family get some closure and some respect. Not a doggone plaque up in the park.
That's right.
If you wanna acknowledge that something was done wrong, let's do the right thing.
That's right.
Let's do the right thing. Bernard Whitehurst has grandchildren.
Yes.
They're gonna need to go to college. You got children too?
Yes,
When your baby's at?
they grown.
I'm sorry. Her baby's grown. But again, don't let their father and their grandfather's death be in vain.
That's right.
You know, again, if we don't tell our story, nobody else is. So again, reach out. Again, it's called Closed Ranks, the Whitehurst case, post-civil rights Montgomery. You can pick that book up. I'm going to set up some other things to stay in touch with Stacy and his mom, if need be. And we're going to do what we got to do to get the story told. We're going to do what we got to do to make Montgomery acknowledge
Yes.
that your loved one was murdered.
Yes.
You know, let's not put up a plaque and not without acknowledgement. There's a dead man, and somebody has to be held responsible.
Yes.
So let's work on that. And like I said, I'm at your disposal anytime you need me. If there's anything I can do, you know, feel free to reach out. Again, I will definitely keep in touch with Stacy because, you know, whatever we got, whatever chemistry doing,
Yeah.
he'll talk, and I'm more than, you know, Mrs. Whitehurst, I thank you so much. If there's anything else that anybody would like to say before, you know, we close out, you know, you can feel free.
Stop looking at me.
But-
My mouth ain't right.
Well, so what? So what? Again, it's not right what happened. So what? My mouth is never right. That's why I excuse myself.
Right.
With your mother.
Right.
But again, we should be outraged.
That's right.
Don't see. The thing is, we have to show people that you're real and that you are mad and that you are. Because what happens is, black folks don't have feelings. They animals. It ain't no big deal.
That's right.
He has children that are hurting.
Yeah, they feel like we can't talk.
You understand what I'm saying? So you being upset is the right thing, if that's what you feel. But like I said, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna post this up. We're gonna get it out. We're gonna send it to different people. We're gonna stay in touch with Dixon and make sure that he's promoting this book as well.
Yes. Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know,
That's right.
but they're gonna know today. They're gonna learn today.
That's right.
Okay, so again, I'm sitting with the Bernard Whitehurst family, his widow, and 2 of his 4 children that he left behind as a result of his murder by the Montgomery police in 1975. And as you can see, they are upstanding citizens of this country and deserve justice.
Yes.
So with that, I'm going to thank the Whitehurst family, and we're going to conclude this, and we're going to plan on how we're going to go forward from here.
All right.
So again, thanks for joining us. This is the first of many interviews to come, unfortunately with other families as well. And like I said, we got to, again, it's Closed Ranks, the Whitehurst case, post-civil rights in Montgomery. Go out and read this book. This is a true story. This is not fiction. This is a true story about a real man and a real family. Please pick it up and read it, and reach out to the Montgomery legislature, reach out to the Montgomery City Council and the mayor, and make them do right by this family. All right.